Testing, 1, 2, testing. Testing, 1, 2, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Muy buenas tardes. Para los que hablan español, el que ocupa traducción, va a haber traducción. Y hay unos, ¿sí me escuchan? Va a haber unos aparatos afuera que podamos prestarles. Si ocupan traducción en español, va a estar afuera.
Quý vị nào cần giải thích qua tiếng Việt thì xin ra ngoài trước, lấy cái máy translation ở ngoài trước, để cho mình nói qua tiếng Việt nha.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. Hello. So we're going to start in just about 2 minutes. There's an overflow room, and we have people that are getting settled in that room, and then we'll get started. So just about 2 minutes, and we'll get going. Is that all right with everyone? Sorry. It's good that we have a lot of excitement, right? So, excellent. Thanks. Just give us 2 minutes. So as people are getting settled in, I just want to make a couple housekeeping announcements. You'll see that just make sure you know where the exits are that are closest to you in case of a fire or an emergency. And where you signed in, the restrooms are over to the left. So if you need to get up anytime, please do that. We'd appreciate it. I'm also just going to ask if you can put your phones on something other than ringing, okay? Just so you know they're there and we don't. That would be great. Thank you. All right, everyone. Well, I'm delighted to get our meeting started tonight. This is Empower Homebuyers for the County of Santa Clara, and this is an introduction of our first-time homebuyer program. And let me just say a couple things about this. So in 2016, we in our community voted to have a $950 million housing bond to try to make it easier for people to get access to affordable housing in our community. And this is the second meeting we're having to introduce one very particular part of the program, and this is the program that sets aside up to $50 million for first-time homebuyers. And for those of you I haven't met, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Cindy Chavez. I'm a member of the Board of Supervisors, and I represent the downtown and east side and southeast sides of San Jose. And I'm really excited that all of you are here. And the reason we did this meeting is we wanted to at least introduce this idea, get the word out in the community so that as many people as possible could access this program. So with that, I want to begin by thanking Eloisa, who's going to be here, who's here representing the Santa Clara County's Office of Supportive Housing, and Adria Quinones, who is Masur, from the Housing Trust of Silicon Valley. And the Housing Trust of Silicon Valley is going to be implementing this program for us. So, and of course, I just want to again say thank you to all of you for supporting Measure A, which allows us to have this Empower Homebuyers Down Payment Assistance Program that we're going to be talking about today. So, we're going to provide you with a lot of information, and I just want to assure you a couple things. One, if you signed in and you printed your email address in a legible way, the slides that you see tonight you'll get. So don't feel panicked about that, and feel free to take pictures of anything that you want to, any slides that you want to take pictures of. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have some introductory comments, and then we're going to take questions, and we're trying to answer as many of your questions as we can today. And the process is to get information, to get your questions answered today, and then once we've done that, you will be, if you're interested, invited to participate in smaller workshops so people can learn a lot more about you and you can learn a lot more about the program. Okay? Does that sound all right? You ready to learn? Are you as excited as I am? Okay, good. I just want to make sure. I was in the right room. Good, I am. So let me turn it over to Eloisa Murillo and Garcia, who's our program manager for this project.
Thank you, Supervisor Chavez, and thank you, everybody, for joining us here tonight. It's exciting to see that there's a lot of interest in this program. As Supervisor Chavez said, I work for the Office of Supportive Housing, also known as OSH. OSH's mission is to increase the supply of housing and supportive housing that is affordable and available to the extremely low and special needs populations. OSH has been tasked as the lead department within the county. We're responsible for implementing the 2016 Measure A Affordable Housing Bond Program. As Supervisor Chavez mentioned, in November of 2016, Santa Clara County voters approved a $950 million affordable housing bond. And it is projected that the housing bond will fund 120 new affordable housing developments over a 10-year period. Since an inception in its first year, over $111 million in funding has been approved for 10 rental housing projects across 6 cities within the county for a total of 817 new affordable apartments. So in addition to the rental housing opportunities that the Measure A bond will create, $150 million of the bond has been allocated for multifamily rental and homebuyer programs for moderate income households. And in June of this year, the Board of Supervisors approved $25 million for a first-time homebuyer program. And the County of Santa Clara, along with the Housing Trust of Silicon Valley, are now launching the Empower Homebuyers SCC first-time homebuyer program. The program is expected to assist approximately 250 households over the first 5 years. And Empower Homebuyers is intended to put the dream of home ownership within reach for low to moderate income people, such as county employees, teachers, healthcare professionals, nonprofit workers, and others who are trying to buy a home in Santa Clara County. I'm going to turn it over to Adria, who's with the Housing Trust, who will be administering the program, and she will walk you through the mechanics of the Empower Homebuyers program.
Thank you. Thank you, Eloisa. All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm excited to see so many faces today. My name is Adria Quinones-Macer, and I am the director of the Homebuyer programs at Housing Trust Silicon Valley. And today we're just going to give you a snapshot of Empower Homebuyers program, which is really going to be helpful for a lot of first-time homebuyers who are looking to purchase their first home. But before I begin telling you that information about the program, I wanted to introduce you just really quickly to Housing Trust Silicon Valley. We were actually founded in the year 2000, and actually the Board of Supervisors and the Silicon Valley Leadership Group are, in a sense, founding group. And what we started off with was doing really small closing cost assistance loans, so like $6,500. And from there, we did several different programs, and over the course of the 18 years, we have helped over 2,500 first-time homebuyers purchase their home. Now, in addition to that, we also do what we call pre-purchase counseling. And we help first-time homebuyers when you call us and you want to get information on what your paths to homeownership is going to be. Now, everybody's path is going to be different. So we try to give you, just little tips on either if you need credit counseling, referrals for credit counseling, or maybe you just need some additional information because buying a home is a really big process and can be really confusing sometimes. I know because when I bought my first home, it was still confusing, and I was doing real estate too. So with that, we also do homebuyer counseling. And with homebuyer counseling, when you're in the process and we're helping you when you're applying for our loan, we help you through the process and help you navigate as you purchase your house and you close the transaction. The other thing that Housing Trust is proud to that we've accomplished is we also work with the City of Santa Clara, and we administer their below market purchase program. Now, let's see. Nope, not yet. Khadija, you're too fast. I have my banner. It's Khadija. So the funds that we have available. So we are going to talk about the Empower program. I hope you all picked up flyers. And one thing that I want to make sure that I do mention is that we do have an additional program called HELP, which is Homebuyer Empowerment Loan Program. And this could be for households who have higher income limits, which are above most down payment assistance programs' income limits that they have. So make sure that you pick up that flyer in case you want more information about that. Now, as a first-time homebuyer, let's see. First of all, okay, who is a first-time homebuyer who has never, ever, ever gone to a workshop? Raise your hands. All right. Wow, that's a lot of people. All right. How many first-time homebuyers are kind of veterans at the information? A few? Okay. Brave souls. Okay. And then how many have attended an 8-hour homebuyer education workshop? Oh, just a few. Okay, well, the classes are going to be busy. So this is kind of one of the things that you hear as a first-time homebuyer, right? I'm going to do a quick little brush up on homebuyer financing. So when you're purchasing your house, right, first question that you have to think about is how are you going to finance your home? And when you're financing your home, you're going to go to a lender to get pre-approved. And the dreaded question, of course, is going to be how much do you have to put down? Now, a lot of people hear a magic number. What's that magic number? 20%, right? Well, as a first-time homebuyer, actually, you can purchase a house with 3% down or 5% down. But down payment assistance is important because with that down payment assistance, you can actually reduce your first mortgage loan so that it's affordable. And if you reduce your first mortgage loan, you're going to reduce your overall housing cost for the month. And that's really important because you want it to be affordable. Let's see, let's go to our next slide. So let's see how this works. So here is an example of a purchase without down payment assistance. So we're looking at a purchase price of $700,000. Now here you see what's the mortgage? $630,000, right? You as a home buyer, you're putting 10% down. Now we figured out that with this scenario that you're going to have a monthly payment of about $45.51. Go ahead, Khadija, let's see the next slide. Let's see how that breaks down. So your principal and your interest for the first mortgage is around $3,400, and then you have your property taxes, home insurance, and you have mortgage insurance that you have to pay because you're putting less than 20% down. So that gives you that total. Now let's see what down payment assistance does. So here's the same scenario, same purchase price. Your loan has now been $189,850, right? So now it's $68,985. But is that what the county gets? No. The county's only going to ask you because this is during the capped period. So the county's going to ask you, yes, please pay back the original loan, $30,000. And now we're only going to cap, instead of asking you for $68,000, we are going to ask you only for $30,000. Right? Because we are capping it at the principal amount that you borrowed. Is that a great deal? It's pretty good for first 10 years, right? So you're not going to pay appreciation of 68. Loan has been capped. The appreciation has been capped. All right, let's go to the next one just to show them what they're going to pay in year 15. All right, this is year 15. Year 15, same house, right? Same appreciation. So here's our equity share calculation. Same calculation, right? So now you have to pay the total of $98,985, right? You're going to pay your principal amount of $30,000 and the uncapped share of appreciation of $68,985. So what this is saying is in the first 10 years, the county is capping the amount of appreciation they're going to get back from you. So it's a lower amount. After that, after year 10, then it's not capped anymore. You will have to pay the full amount. So the first 10 years, great deal. All right, let's see what's our next. Okay, how do you apply? So on our website, we have an intake form that you can fill out and submit it to us. It's online. You can submit it to us. And what we do is we're going to pre-screen you to see if you're ready to move to the next steps. Have you gone to the 8-hour class? Do you have down payment? Have you accounted for possible closing costs? And we try to give you some pre-purchase counseling. Now, if you've met those requirements and you've gone through the pre-screening and you've sent us the certificate that you attended the 8-hour class, then what we do is that we will send you to or refer you to approved lenders. These are lenders that have already reviewed the program and have approved the program to use with their mortgage, with their first mortgage programs. Then you will contact the lender, and when you decide on which lender you want to use, because we always recommend that you talk to a couple of the lenders that are on the approved list, at the same time, you're going to download our eligibility application and make sure you go through the checklist of the documents that we require, because a lot of them are going to be really similar to what the lenders are looking for. You start filling out that application, gathering your documents. As soon as the lender pre-approves you, you contact us to set an appointment so that you could submit your eligibility application along with your documentation. Once we sit down with you and we review everything, if we have all the documentation, it takes us about 14 days to get the process completed. And if once you're program eligible, we will send you a letter for program eligibility letter that lasts for 90 days. So it expires in 90 days. And this gives you time to go out and look for a property and find that property and get into contract and complete the transaction. Sounds easy? I made it sound a little easy, right? It takes a little bit longer, but that's what we're here for. We're here to help you with the first-time homebuyer process. We have been working with, like I said, first-time homebuyers myself. I've been with the Housing Trust for 7 years. She's out in the hallway. She's like my right hand. She's been with us for 4 years, and we're just really excited to continue to help you through this process and get some first-time homebuyers in. Thank you very much.
So we know that's a lot of information. And I do want to just say we have some folks standing in the back. If you have a seat next to you that's open, could you raise your hand? That way if there's anybody who would, so if anybody would like to sit, there are a few seats. The other thing I would say is we've got the room next door is wired, and we have some folks in there too, and we're collecting your questions as well. So what we're going to do right now, if I could just ask for the last slide to come up. The last slide. And the next slide. Yeah, there you go. So this information you're going to want to take a picture of if you have your phones with you. And this is the Empower Homebuyer website, a phone number to call, and also an email address if you'd like to get more questions answered. But what we thought we'd do, if it's okay with all of you, is we're going to take the next 30 minutes to answer questions, and then again, I want to make sure people signed in, and then we'll talk a little bit about next steps, okay? And if you're in the other room, make sure you get your questions to us, and we'll start with them right now. All right. Is this the only time this is being implemented, and what is the length of time you are offering this program, and will this happen again in 5 years plus? So I can actually answer that question. So the ballot measure allows for up to $50 million in first-time homebuyers. The reason that Adria was explaining that the process is really to get the loans paid back so that we can get those loans back out to the community. So when you're done with that money, we want to push it right back out so other people have access to homes. So if we, for some reason, let's say we loan all that money quickly, then my expectation would be that the staff or I would go back to my colleagues and ask us to drop the other $25 million into the program. But we're waiting to see how effective and successful it is before we take any of those actions. So it's not the only time. It is the first time we've done this, and it's the first time I've seen a loan structured quite this way, and we're doing it the way we're doing it because it's your money. I mean, it's public money, okay? And then next question. What happens after the 10-year cap and after 30 years? Adria, can you answer that?
Well, after the 10-year cap, and the 30 years, so the loan is due. So the loan is due at the end of the term of 30 years, and I suspect that by then the county will have a drone who's going to knock on your door and say, it's time to repay the loan. So that typically what homeowners would do is they would either refinance and pay off the county loan.
Okay. Do I qualify as a first-time home buyer if I am married and my husband purchased a house prior to us being married? He still owns the house and I'm not on the title.
So first-time homebuyer status, when we're looking at households, that includes all household members over the age of 18 or adult household members. So you would not be considered a first-time homebuyer because your husband still owns a home and you are married. So you would not qualify at this time.
What happens if my credit score is lower than 680 points? Can I have someone co-sign for me, co-sign for the loan?
We do not allow non-occupant co-signers for the loan. But what you may want to do is look at maybe contacting Project Sentinel for credit counseling. Also, it depends too, because we have what we call compensating factors. We try to balance a file to see, you know, are you putting more than the 3% down of your own funds, right? Do you have more funds in reserves? And we look for other things. Have you been at your job for, like, you know, a long period of time? So what we try to do is try to balance your file. And that really is, you know, what you want to do is talk to us so that we can work with you, and then talk to Project Sentinel so that we can help you with credit counseling to help you with, to manage your credit, and then see if we can put something together.
Do I have to apply for an FHA loan, or can I apply for a conventional loan and receive assistance?
Yeah, you don't have to apply for FHA with this program. You could apply for a conventional loan because you're putting more than 3% down or 3.5% down. Usually FHA may be maybe beneficial for first-time home buyers who have had maybe lower credit scores than in the past, or have some credit issues but still want to buy a house. So it really is going to depend also on the lender, and again, we can help you when you talk to us and when we send you to an approved lender.
What if it takes longer than 90 days to find a house?
Oh, that's easy. Then what you do is, what we try to do is, once you get the letter from us and you're seeing that, you know, maybe within like 60 days or 65 days, you're not, you know, you haven't been able to find a house, contact us, update your pay stubs, your bank statements, so that we can just, you know, update your file and then reissue another letter for another 90 days.
Thank you. I wanted to see, is Vivian still here from Ro Khanna's office? I just wanted to say Congressmember Khanna sent someone to represent him today. Thank you for being here, Vivian. What if the home value falls below the loan when we sell or move out?
So if the house value falls below, we're going to say both loans, because you still have the first mortgage that you have to pay, and you still have the county loan to pay. There's not going to be any appreciation, right? So when we're looking at the share of appreciation, that's if there's any type of appreciation in that home. If there is no appreciation, then of course the county does not expect you to share in zero, right? But the loan does need to be repaid. Now, of course, when we've had in the past these the issues with house prices softening, or of course in the past, you know, the foreclosure crisis, we're still a little bit, you know, dinging from that. You know, I'm sure the county will have some type of, you know, process in order to see if there's a hardship. And then we'll also recommend foreclosure counseling.
So I'm going to combine a couple of questions together, because so one is, how will this help teachers in the working class? And I do want to ask the staff if you can go back to the slide that just shows the income eligibility. I think that might be helpful to have up. And then what about households that exceed the income limit? Is there no assistance available? Trust me, we still need it. And I think everybody who lives in the Valley understands that sentiment.
The first question was, how does it help teachers? Well, with the down payment assistance program, if you're within those income limits, this program is open to anybody who meets or is below those income limits that we have up on this table. And if your income is above this, if you look at this in your household size 4 and you're above 150, 250, then we do have an additional program, which is the HELP program, and that is a program that was designed specifically for families who have higher incomes. And we totally understand that was the goal for the Housing Trust to create this program, because we know that there is a need, that even though you have the higher incomes, they're not, you know, relative to the rent that you're paying, and it's would be a lot more affordable if you bought a house. So I would recommend that you stop by our table to pick up a help flyer, and we'll be more than happy to help you and give you more information.
Thank you. I just wanted to apologize. We had a number of people who were in our overflow room, and our sound went down in there, and so they're in the breezeway watching. And I want to make sure we have staff collecting cards from them. And I just want to say a really huge, I'm sorry for that. That's not good, and I apologize. And we will make sure, again, I just want to repeat that if we have your email address and we have your information, we will absolutely send you these slides and make sure that that you connect on the website. We'll send out that link as well. So I apologize for that. There's a couple of questions. I just kind of want to put these together. Is this loan available for townhomes, condos, or manufactured housing?
So the homes, the home types that we will finance are single-family residences, townhomes, and condominiums, but we will not finance manufactured housing.
What happens if your max gross income rises above the designated limits after the loan is acquired?
Oh, that's a good one. So as you can. The Housing Trust, usually you'll be dealing with either myself or Hong or Nancy. And when you apply to the Housing Trust, we're just looking at your income at that time. Again, the program, these down payment assistance programs are designed to help first-time homebuyers get in the door. After you get in the door and you bought your house, we are happy that you make more income. We are not going to re-income certify at all.
So, and these are kind of similar questions, which is, what is the requirement when a member of a household gains income during the term of the loan? I think you just responded to that. So, I wanted to say we got a number of these questions. And is there a penalty for additional household members moving in once and I'm not sure I understand, once the income max limit is reached during the term of the loan? So I think that means if you get new family members attached to your
loan. So when you're applying, again, that's the only time we're looking at your income. Once you purchase the house and you close, you are free to make as much money as you can. This is an assistance program to help first-time home buyers get their foot in the door, get a house, and build have affordable housing and, eventually build wealth. If you add family members, well, that happens, right? Mom and dad sometimes move in. That's fine. But if you have kids that grow up, they grow up, unless you wanted them to stay there. But no, we're just looking at the time of the loan when you're applying.
So I'm going to combine these two. Could you pay off the 10-year cap early? And once you pay the loan back, do you still owe appreciation after 30 years and the Empower loan?
So you're going to pay, when you pay the Empower loan off, you're going to be paying the appreciation off as well, all at the same time. So it's not separated. So you're going to pay the principal back plus the share of appreciation. That goes together, and that's paid off at the same time.
And the 10-year, I think you talked about the 10-year.
The 10-year cap is just for the first 10 years. So if you if you're going to pay off the loan in the first 10 years, remember the share of appreciation is capped to the actual amount of the principal of the loan. So if you get a principal loan of, let's say, a Power loan of $30,000, but the share of appreciation when we do our calculation is over 30, let's say it's 68,000 like we were looking at, well, the county is going to only ask for $30,000 of that share of appreciation. They're not going to collect the rest. They're going to ask you to pay off the principal loan amount of 30, and then the share of equity is going to be capped at the same amount, 30,000. So it'll be a total of 60.
What is the difference between a cash-out refinance versus a typical refinance?
So cash out refinance is when you are pulling additional funds out of the home, out of the equity of the home, and that would trigger repayment of the loan and the share of appreciation. A rate and term refinance usually happens when homeowners are applying for a refinance to reduce when interest rates go down and you want to reduce your monthly mortgage payment.
Can an individual who is not a citizen or a legal permanent resident be eligible for this program? And really overall, does legal status matter? Meaning, can you be a green card holder, citizen, H-1B, visa holder, or other legal statuses?
So because we have an owner occupancy requirement, the program is for U.S. citizens, permanent and permanent resident aliens.
And there's another part of this question relative to whether or not this assistance would be considered, could be considered as part of a public charge. And what I would just say on that one is we'll need to do a little homework on that, unless you know the answer. We'll do some homework on that, and we'll post that with our frequently asked questions. All right. Do you have others? What if I help my parents refinance their house? Do I still qualify as a first-time home buyer?
That is going to be tough because if you are refinancing, you are on title of a home, and so we're going to look at that as you are not a first-time home buyer.
Can I make payments towards the loan so it's not collected at the end?
Can you prepay the principal?
Can they?
Yeah, I don't think there's an issue with prepaying the principal because you're prepaying down the principal.
Well, I think it actually runs into your cap time. So if it's before the 10 years, because the status of the loan is different, right?
No, the cap was on the appreciation.
Oh, right.
It's only on the appreciation. So I think we'll have to have.
That's a good question. We're going to have to do some research. Does the program intend to update, i.e. 800K home purchases to reflect increasing housing costs? And I think the answer to that is right now, no. There's a lot of houses on the market that are in that within that amount. I don't know, Consuelo or Adria, if you want to.
Yeah. So the purchase price that we have is really what you're looking at maxing out when you're at those income limits. So, and as Supervisor Chavez said, there are right now an increasing inventory on the number of homes in Santa Clara County.
Yeah. So Consuelo's going to read a question because she actually has the answer. Yay.
And I'm not sorry I was late, everybody. I'm not sure if this was mentioned earlier. Some of the questions that we're receiving are a little bit personal, and we're not going to read those, but we will be available after to answer them. We don't want to put too much information out there that's not appropriate. So the following question is, the down payment assistance is great, but what about affordable home pricing? Is there any assistance for finding an affordable home? When we took this program to the board, what we found is that in April, there were 348 homes on the market that are below 800,000. So there is a stock of homes that are available for folks. The other thing that the bond also affords, and we're developing this program right now, is for the actual production of units for sale that are within these price ranges or below market. And once we have the details of that program, we will be releasing it. And if you're on the interest list for this, we will send that over to you so that you can keep up with the programs that we're releasing.
Thank you, Consuelo. If you submitted the intake form already, can you go back and fix it? That's an excellent question.
Yes. Yeah, if you if your income has changed, or sometimes, if you had a baby, you added a family member, yeah, you can go back and change it.
Oh, okay. So during the application, so I think this one is during application, the household is one size. Wait, I'm not sure. Actually, you want to help me with that one?
Sure. The question is, if when I apply for the program and I buy the home, I'm a household of one, can I purchase a 2 or 3 bedroom home?
Yes, you can. This is not, there's no occupancy standards or requirements on this program, so you could, yes.
What should realtors look out for in preparing homes for this program, i.e. termite reports, property inspections, et cetera?
We don't require review of inspections. We just require from the lender their documentation and a copy of the appraisal.
Who do you consider a household?
Everybody under the same roof is what I say.
So really, boyfriend, girlfriend?
If they're living under the same roof, yes.
And if their parents approve? Don't approve?
Yeah.
And
Especially that.
and do they have to attend the class together?
If they're, so we require that for the 8-hour homebuyer education class, all borrowers attend that class, including non-borrowing spouses. So if it's boyfriend and girlfriend and they're both going to be on the loan, and then they both need to attend the class, yes.
Okay. Does owning a rental property you have never lived in yourself count as your first home in this program? Would this disqualify you?
That's under the ownership interest. So if you can't own a home or had ownership interest in a home within the last 3 years.
What about if I had a bankruptcy?
So for bankruptcies, I believe the length of time is 4 years, and we would just want the documentation and the reason for the bankruptcy. So after 4 years, yes.
How much is the workshop for the homebuyer program?
The workshop or the class, let's see, the class for the 8-hour homebuyer education class is $50 per person. Our workshops that we have are free, but our workshops do not fulfill the 8-hour homebuyer education class. Our workshops are more for informational purposes. Project Sentinel does have the 8-hour class, and they will collect a $50 fee.
And what if my spouse is in the process of citizenship? Should they take the class?
I think it's good that your spouse takes the class. It's good to have that information, the process. It's great to have two minds who are both looking at the information. You can always help each other out when you're going through the process.
Great. Just about okay. There's another program I saw on the website that had a higher income limit with only 10% loan assistance. How is that different?
That's our Homebuyer Empowerment Loan Program, and that is funded by Housing Trust Silicon Valley. So this is for higher income limit households, and the down payment assistance is just, the max is 10%. Maximum purchase price is $800,000. So it's just the amount of down payment that we will give out for the HELP program, and plus the higher income limits. That's how it's different.
So what does income limit really mean?
Income limits. So the income limits come out once a year from the federal and the state government. And then what we do is, this is just based on their assessment of what the incomes are within the state of California and then the different counties. The income limit that you see that we're using is coming from the state of California, which tends to be a little bit, just a little smidge higher. And that includes gross household income. So this is before any deductions. So that's overtime, bonuses, plus whatever your salary or commission is.
Are we required to have a 20% loan in total? And what is the interest rate?
So you're not, well, this is going to be part, you have to also talk to the lender. You can you can purchase a house depending on your income with less than 20% down. You can talk to a number of lenders or approved lenders and see what they can offer you with their loan programs. And then, I'm sorry, what was after that? Was there something else?
It was the interest rate?
There is no interest rate on this, on the county program. On Empower,
Homebuyers loan program, there is no interest. It's the share of equity. So you're going to always pay back a principal, and you're going to share in the equity. That's what the county is going to collect.
Will there be help to connect with approved lenders, and how do we connect with, can we have our lender, so 2 questions. Can we have our lender or broker, and how do we, or do we get them through the program?
Yeah, so on our website, we do have a lender partner page, and we have all the documentation up for lenders and lenders' instructions so that they can submit this information and the program to their underwriting and compliance staff for approval. And then once they're approved, they can help you with the pre-approval, and we can work together with the program.
If I have land that has no structure, can I use the program to build a home?
No.
But that's
It's
actually
not a
very
construction
creative.
loan.
Yeah. When we start the application, and when can we start the application, and when is the deadline to apply?
There is no deadline. It is first come, first serve, and you can submit an application or start the process today.
So this is a math question.
Ooh.
So get your pencil out.
I got my calculator.
You got your calculator. Okay, if you make less than $105,000 as a single person, your actual pay per month, taxes, after taxes, is around $4,000 to $5,000. So say you make $90,000 in salary. If your mortgage for a $700,000 home is close to $4,000, you wouldn't have any money left over. So what's the incentive? Darn it.
The incentive
How are minimum
is,
wages set?
Okay,
Was
that's
this considered?
That's not a math question. That's an opinion piece.
I had a little math.
A little math, yes. So really what the incentive is that you're looking for affordable housing. So you want to make sure that when you're purchasing, that you're not purchasing beyond the means of your income. So you may not be looking at an $800,000 house. You may be looking at a $500,000 house. The program is to help as many first-time home buyers. But again, remember, we're looking at affordable housing. We want to make it affordable. You don't want to extend yourself beyond that.
You know, and I'll just add one other thing about this program. Part of what we're going to be using your questions for is to really look at the programs the way we're developing them. So that's a helpful and important question. But this program is designed very specifically for a subset of our community. So, you know, keep those questions coming. It will help push us to think of new innovations. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take about 5 more questions, and then what I'm going to do is we'll talk a little bit about next steps, and then we can just stay and answer questions. And the reason is I want to make sure that everybody gets questions answered, and some of your questions are pretty detailed and really speak specifically to you, so we'd like to make sure we can respond. If my parents will be occupants as well, are their Social Security and disability payments considered income?
Yes, it is. Any adult household member, we will look at their income assets as well.
If I don't qualify as a first-time home buyer, but my spouse is considered a first-time home buyer, do we still qualify for the program? I know we've gotten this question a few times. I just want to have you respond to it again.
Yeah, so unfortunately you would not be considered a first-time home buyer because you are married, and this is a community property state, and so really, realistically, you would not qualify.
How is the shared equity calculated?
The shared equity is calculated, so it's going to be based on whatever your appreciation is. And then, of course, what we're going to do, the appreciation that you have in the home, and then what we take out is the borrower's contribution, which is, again, any type of qualifying capital improvements plus any acquisition closing costs. And the percentage that the county is going to require from you is going to be equal to the same percentage that you borrowed. So if you borrowed 10% from the county, then the share that the county is going to want from you is 10%. If you borrowed 17%, then the share that the county would collect from you would be 17%.
All right. Does previously owning a mobile home disqualify you from the program?
No, it does not disqualify you.
Can you apply today, even though I don't have my 8 hours of HUD or housing education completed, just so I'm in the first come, first serve range?
So first come, first serve means you have an eligibility application already in with us. So you can start with the intake process, and then the home buyer education classes are usually every other weekend, so you can get that process started.
Thank you very much. So first of all, I wanted to say to my staff who pulled this together, give them a big round of applause. We were really trying to get the word out. I really thank them. I want to make sure that if you signed in with us, how many of you would like to get the slides from tonight? If we just email them, okay, we're going to email the slides to you, and on it, we'll also make sure that link is, the hyperlink is available. We'll get that out to you. And then we'll be sharing we'll be working with the Housing Trust to get information out to them about you so that they can communicate with you. I do want to say a very sincere thank you, and we're going to stick around for people who have questions. And so thanks everybody again for joining us. Really appreciate it.